Walienda usingizini baba, lakini hawajapata nafasi ya kuamka. Tuko katika mkutano huu. Uwepo hapo nasi. Yote tutakayozungumzia yawe ya kutujenga ni katika jina la Yesu na kuamini. Amen.
Most of you are not coming to Kara Forum for the first time. For those of you who are coming for the first time, my name is Henry Ochieng. I work at Kara, that's the Kenya Alliance of Resident Associations. And together with our partners, Hansidel Foundation and the county government of Kisumu, we have come together to have this forum today. And it is a very useful forum because the issues we are talking about touches on each and every one of us. Ni mambo ya urban development, mambo ya housing, and just seeing how we want to see our city being shaped as far as urban planning and urban development is concerned. So we thought that it is important to have this conversation. We were here about 2 months ago, and we were just looking at the aspect of public participation and how you as people living in various communities can actively get involved on the agenda of the county government of Kisumu, and how then you can be able to contribute to the well-being of this city. So I don't know, does anybody know what happened about 2 weeks ago between the county government of Kisumu and UN Habitat? Anybody who has an idea what happened between county government of Kisumu and UN Habitat? Amukusikia hiyo news, amukuona pali? This is primarily to look at how best we can be able to make housing accessible to as many people as possible. So that program is starting very soon because the agreement has been signed, and UN Habitat is going to provide support to ensure that they are able to come up, build houses in selected places to support or to make housing accessible. When Waziri comes, I'm sure he'll talk more about it because he had said he's going to mention it. So he'll give more insight about it so that you can be able to understand what that is all about and see how you can plug in as residents of Kisumu. But that is just one component of urban development. Because when we talk about urban development, it means many things. It starts from issues of planning, urban planning, issues of understanding what is it that you want for your city as people who live here, what are the standards you are looking at, and of course, many other things, including the infrastructure around the city, whether it is roads, whether it is the sewage system, the water system, and everything that makes a house livable. Because unaweza kuwa na structure kama hiyo unaita nyumba, lakini huwezi ishi hapo, kwa sababu haina maji, haina stima, there's no access road, there's no security, then it's not being a house, ndio? But if you want to have a livable house, then you must make sure that you have all these supporting infrastructure so that you can live a life of dignity in that particular house. And that is what we are advocating for. That's what we talk about. We talk about urban development. That is what we want to see as Kara. How are we shaping our urban development agenda, particularly for Kisumu? Are we having supporting legislation? Are we having the right policies to make us have the right housing? Are we investing properly on all the supporting infrastructure for urban development? And are the people living in those houses living a life of dignity? Because unaweza ishi kwa nyumba, but the way you are living in that house is not the way a human being should live. Unaishi kama mnyama. So are we asking ourselves the question, hizi nyumba ambao tunaishi, are they giving us an opportunity to live as human beings, to live a life of dignity? And if not, then what should we do as a people, and especially as a government? What should we do to make sure that this is happening in the right way? So those are some of the discussions we are going to have today. We invite you to share with us your thoughts. Like I always say, nobody has monopoly of ideas or solutions. So if there's something that you feel that you want to share, or an idea that you think can be able to enable us make progress, then we will have an opportunity to have that conversation so that we are all contributing to this discussion today. Because nataka by the time we are out of this place, by the time tumalize, we are better off in terms of information, in terms of knowledge, and in terms of understanding how we can support the county government and how we can support other agencies to provide the kind of service that we expect to see. So I was just painting the context, ndio muelewe why we are here, and so that we can also participate in a very constructive way to this discussion. So our theme, as you can see on the program, is shaping the future of Kisumu, roadmap to sustainable and inclusive urban development. And those are some of the things I want to talk about in that particular theme. So we identified a few speakers just to give us different perspective. So we have Samba Nixon to give us the perspective from community, so to speak. He's from the City of Kisumu Urban Areas Association. Then we have Planner Opio Moses Owino, who is the chairperson of Kenya Institute of Planners, Western Region branch. Kenya Institute of Planners is the body that brings together all the planners in Kenya under one umbrella to talk about how they can be able to effectively contribute to issues of urban development and of course execute the mandate. And then we are going to have Dr. Charles Konyango, who is the CEC in charge of lands, physical planning, housing and urban development, Kisumu County, to also talk to us about what the county government is doing as far as issues of sustainable and inclusive urban development is concerned. After we've listened to these three gentlemen, we'll open the floor so that you can also tell us what your perspective is, what you think about the discussion, and some of the suggestions or some of the solutions you think we need to bring to the table in addressing these issues. So with those few remarks, I believe I've put the context of why we're here today, and we can then now proceed to listen to our speakers. I know we already have Moses Owino here from KIP. I've just seen Samba walking in. Waziri has told me he's on the way. So as we give Samba time to catch his breath, because he just walked in, let me invite Planner Opio Moses Owino just to share with us his perspective to ende vile itakuwa. So Planner, you have about 10 to 15 minutes max so that you can be able to keep time. So
I've been introduced. I'm Planner Moses Owino Pio. I'm the current chair of Western Region, Kenya Institute of Planners. So I think this is a good initiative for the community and also for Kisumu City as a whole. Because plan is a very essential and very critical document, a development plan. I don't know if some of you have ever interacted with a development plan. Like Kisumu, there's one that was launched for the city, the local physical development plan for Kisumu. I hope you have interacted with the document. You have not seen the document. Yeah, it's there, and it's a legal and binding document that It's perceived, even though some don't know about it, it's perceived that you participated. It's perceived because there's a public participation that was done, but with public participation, I know you can't mobilize everyone to be part of it. So I know you are represented in it, and it went through the process. There's a process, plan preparation process. The public are very crucial because you come up with the proposals. After coming up with the proposals, there's a draft plan that's prepared. After that draft plan, then the proposal is approved by the county assembly. But after stakeholders' involvement and stakeholders agreeing, which the public are very crucial part of it. So that's what we do. We prepare plans. You visualize. You come up with ideas of how you want your community to grow. So with that visualization, and then incorporating the sectoral aspect, like roads, like where in terms of open spaces where the public can go for enjoyment and recreation, in terms of education, in terms of health, in terms of water, in terms of solid waste management, in terms of liquid waste management. So the public are also involved in that, and also ensuring that these things are placed in the space. In the space, this I mean within the Kisumu city. So when these items have been placed in the space, there's this aspect, the implementation aspect, which is the development control. So with the development control, which is also a very important component, because yes, you have the idea. It's just like you have engaged an architect to draw for your house. So you can decide not to build it or build it. So with planning, after the plan has been approved, since it's a legal document, its implementation is crucial in that it's the only way that you can realize as a community what you want for today and also for the future. So, in the engagement of the community, I don't know even if you get aware if that plan is being implemented if you don't know about it. Because in terms of development control, there's this aspect. I don't know if you guys have seen these adverts they usually put for change of use. Someone want to change from this to this. Have you seen it? I know planning is a very, we usually say it's not, you can't compare it with others like surveying and architectural, but it's the mother, but there it's the foundation of all those others. So when you don't, I don't know how we'll go about it so that you guys also be part of it. That's the reason why even I was talking with the convener of this session that we really need to have resident associations. Because this is the discussion that we've been having with the county government, so that that plan, the locals can be educated about it. Yeah, so that if someone wants to build something that's not aligning with that plan, the public can refuse. Because there are projects that are supposed to be budgeted for using that plan. So that plan should inform the CIDP. I hope you guys have interacted with that document, County Integrated Development Plan. So during the County Integrated Development Plan, if the public knows about the physical development plan, you know it's easier for them to also question if some of the crucial projects that they identified is not catered for in the CIDP. I know there are projects that can run even for 20 years. They are capital intensive, but there are some that they are short term. Yeah. So the county government, through that, the public can also highlight if those projects are not part of the CIDP, which I'm sure, I don't know if it's happening. So I think through the discussion, the sessions that we have, even the CCM will be here. I think if we can mobilize and also form associations, or if those associations are there, the county government can facilitate so that we can have those awareness and sensitization forums for the plan, so that it can make it easier for you, for the public also, to poke holes where there are problems. So that is that. So that apart from the oversight by the county assembly, the resident associations, I think, are also is another crucial component that can help in terms of enforcement of the plans for implementation. So empowering them and also ensuring that they are in place as envisioned by even this act as envisioned in OACA, Urban Areas and Cities Act. How many have interacted with Urban Areas and Cities Act? For us to realize some of these things is that we need to have these associations so that this, in terms of implementation, in terms of budgeting, and in terms of enforcement, the public can question, and when you question, I know can help in terms of implementation. So I think we'll discuss more and we'll share more as we proceed. Thank you.
I know he has highlighted some aspects of our discussion today, and mainly about the laws that are governing issues of urban planning, the issues about CIDP, the county spatial plan, the local physical development plan look like. It is the one that indicates what can be allowed in your neighborhood, what cannot be allowed in your neighborhood, standards, the kind of what can I say? How a building or how a structure needs to look like if it is in a particular neighborhood. So easy, there's a very big fight, particularly in Nairobi, between resident associations and developers. And why is that happening? Because there's a culture, or there's a habit that has cropped up where we have developers who are putting up buildings very haphazardly. Unapata, you bought your bungalow some years back, you've invested there, that is your house, that's where you live, and it's a very nice place. And then somebody comes next to your house or next door, they buy that property from the owner, they demolish the property completely, and then they put a 20-story building just next to you. What does that mean? Number one, it means your privacy is gone. Because mtu akiwa kwa nyumba yake pale 5th floor, they just need to look down into your compound and they can see everything that is happening in your compound. And with that comes the issue of insecurity. Kama ni watu wabaya, they can use the information they have to cause havoc. Karibu waziri. And then number 3, it means that we have put unnecessary pressure on the infrastructure that are required to make a place livable or to live a life of dignity. Because if the place was built to take care of maybe 20 families, and now you have a 20-floor apartment, that means you have more than 300 families in that particular place, using the same sewage system, using the same water infrastructure, without any expansion of that. Then very soon, utaanza kuambiwa, we have water rationing. Very soon, you'll be told the sewage system doesn't have the capacity to be able to take care of the population that we have here. Contribution, you can also give your views. I don't want to get into the details of that. So I want to ask Samba to briefly come and give us his perspective before now we allow Waziri to also talk to us on the subject of discussion. So Samba, if you can do it in 10 minutes or so, that will be very useful. You have a presentation?
Otieno Omumbo. I'm the chairman of the City of Kisumu Urban Areas Association, also the former CEO of the Kisumu Central Business District Association up to 2016. And I am an affiliate of the Kenya Alliance of Resident Association, that is KARA. We've been together for the past 3 or 4 years. And I'm also a resident of Kajulu in Kisumu East Sub-County. And last but not least, the incoming member of County Assembly of Market Milimani Ward, where we are. Mutanipatia hii kitu 2027? Sinimetosha? Hii ni yangu, sindio? Ndio ninyoroshe hii town kabisa, ingare kama city. We must make sure this city looks like a city because that is what we've been singing along for all this time. As I wait for the projection to come through, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to make a submission that the city of Kisumu has made tremendous progress. If you were here 10 years ago, that is, let me say if you had come to Kisumu in 2010, and then you come to Kisumu today, you will notice, without boasting, that we have dramatically changed this city. And with that energy that we have exhibited in the last 10, 15 years, we are projecting that in the next 5 to 10 years, if we continue in that space and speed, we are going to transform this city into a first world city. Itawezekana? Si tutawezana na hii maneno? Thank you. So I have walked a lot. I have gone to, I've visited Northeastern, I've visited Central Kenya. The other day I was in Nanyuki. I've been to West Pokot, Kapenguria. I've been to many cities in Central, including Embu. And I can tell you that the city of Kisumu is placed ahead of all these cities, especially in Central. There is no city in Central that can beat us. None at all. And after Nairobi and Mombasa, we come third in ranking. It's just the other day that Nakuru thought of becoming a city, and Eldoret, and we welcome them. They are welcome to come to Kisumu City to learn how cities are being run. My opening message, and this from the submissions of my colleague here, Mr. Opio Moses, reminds us that some of us here do not even know about the plans. It means, therefore, that we are focusing on building and roads. We are not focusing on the people. Because when the engineer asked how many people are aware of the urban plan, so that tells us, and this needs to go to our policy makers, that we have, development is not just about buildings and roads. That is not how we measure development. But development is about the people of the city of Kisumu. And the dignity. How dignified is the dignity of the people of Kisumu? And of course, the shared progress. Where I want to see that when the people of Milimani are enjoying the good soft air that I'm going to make sure they do, the people of Kondele are also enjoying the same privileges. So that we no longer have segregation on the basis of your neighborhood. So as a community leader from where I stand, ladies and gentlemen, it is my strongest belief that we are going to build the city of Kisumu futuristically with the people, not just for them. I don't know English no donjo. Is it entering? That we are not going to build a city for the people of Kisumu, but we are going to build a city with. The letter with. Wada. Jomano somo Kisongo. Now, So who is the City of Kisumu Urban Areas Association? My association is non-religious, non-political, not-profit. And our mission is to transform the city of Kisumu through collaborative partnership. We've been here since 2016. We were registered in 2016. And these are our parameters of measuring our progress. We are aligning our strategies to the Kenya Vision 2030, the SDG number 11, and of course the UN New Urban Agenda that was passed in Quito in 2015. So what are the key issues about the city of Kisumu? The city of Kisumu was made a city, and I think many of us are here when His Excellency, the late President Moi, declared Kisumu to be a city. Which year was it? Those of us who are here, the Gen Zs wale wa kitambo. When did Moi make a proclamation that Kisumu is a city? Gen Zs wa jana. It was in the year 2000. 2002. Eric, Chinga, have you given now Gen Z wa nyuma chai kidogo ndio wachangamke? Watapata chai itapatikana, hebu changamkeni. When did the President Moi make a proclamation of the city of Kisumu as a city? 2000 angoa? Is it not 1996? Ama? Because 2000 is when we were celebrating there. Isn't it? That is when he made the proclamation that Kisumu will be a city. But he never gave us a charter until he left power. So we just remained a city by proclamation until this act came into force. The Urban Areas and Cities Act, number 13, and if you go to section 60, this is what now created Kisumu as a city. And when this act came into force, this act, the Urban Areas and Cities Act, it came into force in 2013. So legally speaking, we've been a city since 2013. Legally speaking, because it is this law that basically created the city of Kisumu. And we can say without any doubt that Kisumu city remains a very vibrant culture. This one I don't need to convince anybody. You only need to go to Kondele to confirm this vibrancy in the culture. And it's a 24-hour economy in Kondele. And that is what we are praying for. That also we transfer that 24-hour economy into Kisumu city. Now, this is the home of fishermen, traders, students, and innovators. And we are now saying it is time for a citizen-driven transformation. So what is our shared vision? And this is what I'm looking for as a leader. That can we be able to have a Kisumu city where every resident, regardless of the background, akue professor, au kweni, and there are very many professors in Kondele, so do not risk throwing any stone there. And that is why we stopped throwing stones, because we realized we were hitting so many other professors. So regardless of the background, we are saying that we want a city where every resident can live, work, and dream in a clean, safe, and prosperous city. Can we do this? I want us to talk about inclusive growth. And my friend engineer outlined this. When he asked some questions, are you aware of this? It means most of us are not included in some of this decision making, isn't it? Is it that we are not included? Ama ni sisi hatutaki kuenda? We have a right to be included, isn't it? But that right comes with the responsibility. Are we together? So it is still your responsibility to make sure that you are where the information is, or you seek for that information that is important. So it is not going to be up to Waziri to come knocking to your house to tell you that, Jacob, we are having a meeting, can you please come? And most of us will ask, is there a fare? So it is your obligation to make sure that you present yourself. And then of course, we are looking at, for us to achieve that shared vision, we must have an environmental balance. We must have dignified livelihoods. And I'm very happy that there is this focus on affordable housing. The next question is how affordable is it affordable? Ama namna gani? Is how many millions? Let us look for money, isn't it? But we want to say we must have dignified livelihood so that places like Nyalenda, Obunga, Nyawita, Nyamasaria, Manyata, we can transform those neighborhoods into better living quarters, and of course dignified jobs, and of course community ownership, clean neighborhoods. And when I talk about clean neighborhoods, clean from drugs, clean from waste management, clean from noise pollution and all that. And I'm looking at water and sanitation. There are places where we are still preaching water, and yet there is Lake Victoria here. It is very shameful that we can lack water in Kisumu city, yet Lake Victoria is just less than a kilometer from our borders. And of course, job creation. With the collapse of Kikomi and other factories that were here, we are really crying as a community that can we have jobs that can make this city to be a 24-hour economy. Kisumu city by 6 p.m. in the evening, imekufa. There is nobody. Because the only people who are working in this city are county government employees. When they close work at 5, there's nothing else. The city is dead. We only live to Kondele, where we know the other people do other type of business. Then we are talking about safety of the streets. And we are talking about safety, the border riders, safety from crime, and of course improved mobility. We need to rearrange our roads, and of course the environmental protection and climate resilience. This is very key for us as a city, for us to march strongly into the future. Naenda haraka sana na syllabus. Niko sambamba? Am I too fast? Is it entering the issues I'm talking about? So what are some of the challenges that for me as a community leader I'm looking at? Number one, I'm looking at informal settlements that do not have certain critical services. You go to Obunga, they don't have piped water. By majority of the residents there, they don't have piped water, especially most of the informal settlements. Waste collection is not there. In fact, when people tell Kisumu is very clean, I challenge them that don't just walk along hii street hapa, sindio? Aende huko ndani ndiye ajue maneno iko namna gani, sindio? Huko ndani, that's the reality, isn't it? Enda Ubunga, enda Manyata, enda Nyalenda. That is now where you'll be told this is the real Kisumu. Wachana na hii ingine unaona kwa TV. So pollution, these are still challenges that we have, especially in residential areas. In markets, you go to Kona Ilungu now, fish market next to Obunga, where they sell mugongowasi. They don't have a toilet. And I can imagine that is a market that is designated by the county government. And of course, youth unemployment. This one is very critical. Poor waste management. Flooding. Flooding is still a problem in this day and era in the city of Kisumu, especially in areas around Koloa, Nyamasaria, and Nyalenda. There's a very huge backflow of the lake. Plans that the county government has for us. There's limited participation. They select a few of us, call us for those meetings, and then they still come late when the meeting is on, and then you don't have so much time. And of course, poor housing. Now, what is the roadmap? How do we run away from this? And I want to challenge my colleague, Mr. Henry Ochieng from Kara, and also Hans Siedel, that our priority number one is empower the people. If our people are empowered, so that we are aware of how to even argue in those planning meetings, because sometimes some of us avoid coming to those meetings. You find a professor there, they intimidate you with very strong English. Unashindwa kurespond, sindio? Then now unanyamaza na hiyo point yako, unarudi nayo nyumbani. Yeah? But if I was empowered, then I can challenge the professor. I tell him, Professor, I can see there you have put a comma. It's supposed to be a full stop. Isn't it? So that empowerment, and I challenge my friends from Kara and NCDL, please invest in empowering the people of the city of Kisumu, so that they can challenge they can work very closely with the people in policy. And of course, we want a clean environment, a green environment, and inclusive planning. Let us deliberately be brought on the table, not just to fill the numbers, but they need to view and appreciate our views. Nikipeana point, ikuwe ni point inachukuliwa and inasikizwa. I'm just about to finish. Of course, the private sector, the business community, The non-government agencies like Ngao, Women Enterprise Fund, Youth Enterprise Fund, the new project was launched the other day, NGOs and all this. My point I'm trying to push here is that partnership is the bridge between ideas and action. There's a lot of ideas in Kondele, a lot of ideas in Nyawita. But if you are not able to partner with those people down there, then all those ideas will die as ideas. And an idea, as long as it is not actioned, it remains an idea. That is not helping anybody. The successes we can actually boast about. You saw the other day in Dunga, there was an eco-tourism project that happened there. We have some women doing waste recycling in Manyata. They are collecting under the MTACA program. We have there's a digital youth hub in Nyalenda. And of course, currently, initially, we saw the government working on the beautification project. What is the key message in this? We are saying that this proves that citizens are the co-creators and the co-drivers of change. And that is why we are inviting government and institutions. Let us invest in our people, because these are the strongest resource we will have as a city. It's only the city of Kisumu that you can come here by air, rain, is it Angoa? Land, sea, land, water, and air. We have the rail network, we have the roads, and they have really improved over the past number of years. Mandamboleo Road is under construction. We have the Lake Victoria. The other day, they revamped the water transport through the water bus, and of course, our airport is fairly functional. So, what is as I finish my presentation, ladies and gentlemen, what am I asking us to do? To the residents, I am saying, ladies and gentlemen, let us come out strongly and manage our neighborhoods. It is not going to be the function of county government or the government to manage where you stay. We must come out strongly to manage our neighborhoods. It is our responsibility. It is not going to be your Serikal's idea. We have to, the Urban Areas and Cities Act gives us the powers to register resident associations. We already, just the other day, we submitted a petition to the Cabinet Secretary for him to gazette the accreditation processes, so that neighborhood associations are accredited by the city board, and therefore once the accreditation has happened, we now know that this particular resident association is Manning Nyalenda, this one is for Milimani, this one is for Bunga, this is for Manyata, and they're able to institutionally engage with the city of Kisumu authorities, and of course to our leaders. And I hope they are here. It's called the river drainage system. It has been in budget since 2013, and every year it gets allocated funds and nothing happens. So that transparency, that lack of transparency is really discouraging most of us. And of course to our partners like CARA and any other organization supporting this, please invest in the people. And to our young people who are here, the Gen Zs, you have all the knowledge. With us, we are being phased out. All the young ones who are left here, we are saying that it is now your time. So my key message here is that I'm saying that, ladies and gentlemen, the sustainability begins with responsibility. And whose responsibility is that? It is our responsibility. Hakuna mambo ya serikali saidia. Obama will not come from America to come and transform Kisumu City. Or Mheshimiwa Ruto come from Nairobi to change Kisumu City. So, ladies and gentlemen, in closing, this is the message that I'm going to say bye with. I know I've taken quite some time, but together we can turn Kisumu into a model African city. And we are strategically placed because we are now the first one. We are the top 3 fastest growing intermediary cities in Africa. And we are saying that if we are able to do this, then this growth will uplift every household and the environment that will thrive alongside development. Ikwaramogi, let us shape Kisumu's future together and for all of us. Awacho koso kawacho. Awacho maber. Donga wewe gimago nyithinyosi.
Actually provided and to the standards that we expect them to be provided. So I think that was a very, very good perspective, and I'm sure you've picked something useful from that presentation that you can then go and apply when you leave this place. So before I call Waziri to speak to us, I think I've made a very serious oversight because I know we are in a season of mourning, and all these things we're talking about here, about the Urban Areas and Cities Act, about devolution, about community engagement, could not be possible if we didn't have Baba pushing for them. And we are in a season where we are still mourning Baba. And because of that, before we proceed with Waziri, I want us just to observe a 1 minute silence in respect of Baba, and then we can proceed. So can we rise up and do a 1 minute silence, please? Thank you very much. You can have a seat. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Amen. So, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard from our planner. You heard what he said, and the issues he was pushing for. The need to actively understand the legislation that exists to drive urban planning in our city, and they need to make sure that they are actually implemented, and we have plans in place. We've heard from Samba, talking from the community point of view, and the challenge for us to be proactive and take responsibility of neighborhoods and of our city so that we can contribute to its well-being. And now we have Waziri Dr. Konyango, who is here with us. Dr. Charles Konyango is the CEC in charge of lands, physical planning, housing, and urban development in Kisumu County. And I must add that you are lucky to have Dr. Konyango because I've known him for some time when he was director in Nairobi for planning. And I know that he has very, very good intellect and good intention in terms of making sure that the county, the city of Kisumu is actually properly planned and the urban development agenda is driven. When we started, I told you about the recent partnership between UN Habitat and county government of Kisumu as regards social housing. I'm sure he'll touch on that briefly so that he can just give us some insight on what it was all about and how you can be able to plug in as the residents of Kisumu. Of course, with many other things that he wishes to tell us. So please join me in welcoming Waziri to come and speak to us. Karibu Waziri, the floor is yours so that you can be able to share with us your perspective. Simtupate makofi akikuja tafadhali. Asante sana.
And picking me to come and assist in Kisumu was not a coincidence. As National Director of Urban Development, I did manage the Kisumu Urban Program, which gave the genesis for the transformation of what you're seeing in Kisumu, both within the city core and also the city peri-urban areas. I also manage the KFW program that was dealing in social infrastructure. The Kisumu Urban Program was a 4.2 billion Kenya shilling program, and is what sowed the seeds for transformation in this city. After the KFW, I also managed the Kenya Urban Support Program, for which the Kenya Urban Support Program is a conditional grant And through the Kenya Urban Support Program, for the 3 years, we were giving Kisumu annually 712 million Kenya shillings. The Kenya Urban Support Program is responsible for much of the city core transformations that you are able to see. The fire station, which of course is not yet complete, we hope to complete it because this fire station was modeled on the typology which we saw in New York. We have not brought it to that level, but before I quit the department to join Kisumu City, we did make the Kenya Urban Support Program Phase 2, which is currently operational. Its effective commencement date has started, and so through that program we hope to still complete quite a number of other programs. The Chichwas, the Mama Grace social halls, the Rotaries, the Dunga roads, and all the NMTs that you see in Kisumu are just part of what we accomplished. I could mention many more, but I do believe that that is the reason why Professor Nyong'o found it necessary to just call me to come and try and help deepening the journey that we have started in Kisumu. Having said that, my background is urban development planning, and I must also state that when I found Nixon talking about Urban Areas and Cities Act, I got excited because the Urban Areas and Cities Act also has my brain or my mind into it. We formulated that act. And before I left the department, we were doing the regulations to the Urban Areas and Cities Act. So Section 60 of the Urban Areas and Cities Act, we just cleverly inserted it there after the Senate, during the Senate discussions. That is when now we inserted it, because Kisumu was declared a millennial city. Unfortunately, up to the time I stand here, Kisumu is operating as a city without any charter. So, having had a political declaration, and we were very happy for Kisumu to have been declared a millennial city, but nothing existed in law that was establishing Kisumu as a city. Therefore, I can say, in Luo, Nimo ino uondoa. That is it. Umi adita maonge gimoro e adita. Kori wuotho ga data kiparo ni chiemo ne e adita, to kaka idhi nyime wuotho kaka chochako ka iti gol weti adita gimiyudo onge. I hope everybody understands that language that I have spoken. Is there anybody who does not understand that language so that I can interpret? So thank you very much. What I was saying in short is, Moi gave us a calabash without the content in it, in the name of a city. So Kisumu was operating just on the, on the whims of any political regime. From the time of the declaration of the millennial city. So what we did then in crafting the Urban Areas and Cities Act, when it was at the Senate committee level, we inserted Section 60. That is why you see Section 60 is actually the last section which is coming as an afterthought. Section 60 should have come under Section 13 of the Urban Areas and Cities Act. But you see, it is just coming before the schedule. So that was cleverly inserted so that in law, Kisumu may then be established as a city, and we did not just put in Kisumu, but we also brought in Mombasa so that it does not seem that there are people who come from Kisumu, the people who again are inserting this section. So we have to be fair. Now, as I speak to you now, Kisumu still is operating without a charter, an operational mechanism. Having said that, may I also say that we are in the journey, and it is a transformative journey. Kisumu is lucky in the sense that it is a very unique city. The only city within Africa that is one having three physiographic features that are not only structuring Kisumu, but also giving it an economic base. One is the lake, the plains, and the Kajulu Hills. Those are very critical structuring elements for Kisumu that gives us a huge untapped potential for not only growth, but for livelihoods development. It is therefore important for us to understand that as residents and citizens of this county of Kisumu, not just the city of Kisumu, it is so important. Thank you very much. I was really looking forward to that. It is so important that we understand what potentials exist within our area and position ourselves to tap into that potential to better our livelihoods and improve our city. So the theme that we are riding through in terms of restructuring, repositioning, and re-engineering Kisumu is making of livable lakefront metropolis. In doing that, we are looking at building inclusive, livable lakefront metropolis. For us to do that, we have to place Kisumu at the heart of African urban transformation. It is very unique. There is no city that looks like Kisumu. You go to Kigali, no. You go to Mwanza, no. There is no city that has the kind of features that I've told you about Kisumu. So our aim therefore first is to place Kisumu at the heart of African urban development, so that we are not just attracting investments and developments, within the region, but we are looking at the African space and the African market, and from there we exit now to go to the diaspora and begin competing with other nations. Is local, and I'm very happy that I found Nixon talking. The approach that we are giving is that we must develop Kisumu from the local perspective. In other words, the residents must be incorporated, involved, and when we incorporate and involve the residents, first they must have an understanding of what urban development process is and how they must be involved and how they have to be stakeholders of that development process and what contributions they need to make this city livable and to position the city to be an African livable metropolis. So the development of Kisumu, the transformative perspective that we are approaching is that the development of Kisumu must be local. Kisumu's independence must also be local. And when I talk about independence, there is no community in this country that is as democratically sensitive as the community of this Lake Core region. And that is why when it comes to issues of democratic rights, democratic development, governance, the people of this community lead and others follow. You must therefore lead by example. And that is why we are saying that the future of our independence, we must position Kisumu to develop as an independent entity that we can only twine with other cities, but the independence content of Kisumu as a city must be brought to the forefront. That is when Kisumu can be able to develop in a very unique way that when you land in Kisumu, you are there. We are now invited to Kisumu Dala, the only city that has a white synonym Europe in Africa. And she goes on, and the people, their language is Ingluo. And then she goes on other things. And she amuses everybody, now begins laughing. In other words, she creates an image of Kisumu which should show Kisumu as a very unique city that one would love. By the way she talks and markets Kisumu, any stranger or first visitor in Kisumu would really want to get out, and now, before you do your business, you want to take a transect tour, or therefore develop from a local perspective. The emphasis we are laying is that Kisumu's development into a livable and lakefront metropolis lies in empowering local communities. And Kara, you have a task that, a huge task, that I do not even, as I stand here, believe that you have grasped, the depth and the strength and the breadth of the task that lies ahead of you in terms of turning this community into, that community that can be able to develop their city. What then we need to do, colleagues, is to provide for very predicted population, and we are positioning our population by 2030 to be 350,000 core people in Kisumu, and therefore this is a community that we really must look at, and we must develop this community for self-actualization. And in this self-actualization, may I turn what Nixon said and turn it the other way around and say that we develop the city for the people. Now, I want to say that very clever, very wisely. Nixon put it that we do not develop the city for the people, but we develop the city with the, that is what Nixon said, isn't it? Now, I am saying that we must develop the city for the people, but within that context, we must embrace and ensure that there is self-actualization. Now, when I talk about developing the city for the people, it is not different from developing the city with the people. But it is in this context that we have been used to this notion where all and many of our urban areas, we develop those urban areas and we allow the people to come into the urban areas, and these people are not yet sensitized. They have not yet developed their skills to be able, and life skills to be able to live in that city. So we are bringing strangers from the village and planting them in the city. They therefore begin with a culture shock in the city. And when the city finds them there, like I know now for the residents, Kanyakwar, Kajulu, part of Kajulu, Dago, and Dago is a little far, but Kogonyi down here. What is happening is that the city has moved on. And as the city moves on, the city brings you in. But then you are not prepared for that new livelihood that the city brings in. So what we have to do then is we develop the people to be able to create their own city. In other words, we are bringing in the concept of co-creation. Because if we do not co-create the city, then we continue with the culture shock. We develop the city in a manner that any migrants that are coming into the city, they find a place to go in first, and then after they get in, they are able now to develop their life skills to be able to adapt. This used to take place during the first colonial regime, where you find that, although it was not very good though, because I saw something written Kipande. It was a kind of a metallic plate, and my grandfather's name was inscribed in it. John Osero Rabar was inscribed in it. Now, that Kipande is what the old man had to travel with whenever he's going to Nairobi. He had to carry that thing with him to be allowed to enter into Nairobi. And when he enters into Nairobi, then there were only specific places where he could live and not any other place. So you could live, and that was called the Eastlands. So it starts with the Eastlands. The Kaloleni was very popular. And then from there, you can move and move. But when you come to the Muthaigas, then you only come there as a cook, which was not very, very good. So what I'm saying then is, we must be able to develop a city where the people feel comfortable, where the people take ownership, where the people find livelihoods and are able to create their own livelihood systems, where the people are able to adapt, and that we can only do through co-creation. Therefore, involving the community in building that city becomes very important. So we need then to guide our urban areas so as to ensure that we contain the urban footprint in terms of its extension. Finally, we need to protect Kisumu's natural environment. I look at something is happening when you look at the Dunga wetlands. That's an area that has to be protected. The Kisat Westlands needs some protection right from, it has to be protected right from the hills as you come in. Dunga also has to be protected right from Kajulu as you come down. Kisat right from Riyadh as you come down. We need to protect those natural environments. And those natural environments are existing within what we call the freehold land areas. We have therefore can only co-create the natural environment that is adaptable with the people. Because if we sensitize the people and we are able to do it with them so that they also make a living, and they are able to see that whatever programs we are proposing are programs that they understand, programs that they can adopt, and programs that brings a betterment to their own livelihood. Those are the kind of things that we need to do in terms of co-creation with the people. In terms of planning, I don't know if planner, you had given something by the time I came your talk. Okay, good. Now, he may have talked to you about the new concept that we are taking, which is called adoptive planning approach. Initially, all our urban planning approach, we have been talking about collaborative urban planning, and that is how we've been doing it. We started from the master plan approach where we would do the plan, and then we bring it. You are only told that your area is zoned for this, and you never participated in zoning that area for whatever it is that we are telling you your area is zoned for. And your area, you can only develop this. We never prepared you to accept and to adapt. Therefore, by master planning, we created a city that drives the residents out of the city and brings in new people. And so you are disenfranchised of your land. Because what you find is, if for example now, you had your small building down there and this room, this hotel, it came up and this was a freehold land and yours is there. What is happening is, a mother, when she ties her lasso to go out, somebody is sitting here and is just watching. Do you have any privacy? You don't have any privacy. You are doing your things there. The mzee has taken a kinyasa and is seated out there with his newspaper reading. Somebody is here studying you. You are very insecure. But when we zoned this area for high-rise development, we never considered your ability to also go high-rise. We didn't consider that. And we did not give you the options on, if you do not have the ability, what are the other options that you can co-invest to ensure that you do not stay underground, but you can also develop and go high-rise. We never gave you that opportunity. So what we are doing now is that we are going through what we call adoption planning approach. We come in, we find what you have been able to do, assess with you your ability. We sit like you're sitting here, and you are able to say that in this region or in this area, these are the kind of phenomena that we would want to take place. If you're zoning this area, these are the kind of zonation and the standards that we would want to bring. So that by adoption planning approach, we are developing incrementally. You start from where you are, and we are able to develop incrementally. When we make any changes, those changes must consider the ability of the people and their incremental development. So that is the planning approach that then we are taking in for Kisumu. And that is not just Kisumu, it is the new planning paradigm shift that is in place. So the strategic growth areas to achieve livable metropolis, we have it there, and there are, we start with the CBD, the core CBD, that area we just want to do densification. I don't have a pointer, but the core CBD area there right in the center, that is where we want to do densification. But we found something very unique. In the year 1901, in 1901, there was a proposal for a new airport. And that new airport is somewhere in Rai. When I went to the area and looked at it, it is reserved very well. And that area can give us a very good international airport that can support Kisumu. Either we leave Kisumu for cargo, and then we develop that one and we connect it with the railway. From Rai, connected with the railway to the city and connected to the old airport. We would call it, the old airport, that is not the current international airport, but the old airport. We can be able to, to connect that. In 1989, I was privileged to do the strategic structure plan for Kisumu, the first strategic structure plan for Kisumu. We did that in 1989. And as we were doing that plan, we actually went to an airport for Rai. So we also zoned another area in Awasi for an international airport. Now, that one, when you look at the strategic structure plan for 1989, you will find it there. But this one in Rai is more strategic and much more closer in terms of proximity to Kisumu. So that is a structure on how then we've mapped the development of Kisumu in terms of the various strategic growth nodes within the concept of inclusivity. So that Kisumu does not just develop, organically, but we have spread the development on Kisumu, and then we feel it. At the end of it, when you look at it from a bird's eye view, you have a uniform city that works for its people, not a city where the people work for the city instead of the city working for the people. The other thing that we are looking at is turning Kisumu to face the lake. Nixon mentioned something here which really pains my heart. You land in this city on a Saturday, 2 o'clock, and you wanted to do some purchases so that you move in, to Nyahera, and go, some hardware of all those kind of things. You have just come from Nairobi, so you want to pick up here, buy some things here, and move to do your building in Nyahera. You will find that all of this Obote is just closed. Is that right? Ogingo Dinga is closed. The only place where you find life is when you go to Kibuye and the rest, yeah? Those are the only places. So, the whole of this is dead. And yet this is the commercial, the industrial, the heavy commercial nerve of Kisumu. People would even want to land here, people that are on transit, and then do their purchases and go. But when they land, after 1 o'clock, it is a dead area, dead city, completely. So what do we do to revitalize? And you see, it is sitting just closer next to the lakefront. So in developing Kisumu, we are coming up, and good enough, Governor did create the Kisumu lakefront development authority or corporation, it is there in place. And the aim here is to turn this city to face the lake. Let the city begin interacting with the lake. And so the planning approach is, if you see that orange, the ring road orange, we have developed a plan for turning Kisumu to face the lake so that that lake becomes very vibrant. What I've created on this other side is just a master plan on a typology of what we envision to come around the lakefront. So that has also been, so that has also been designed, and this is a detailed typology, a master plan, just picking one area around Dunga and then seeing how then can we detail it. Now, in detailing this, what is the stake of the communities? And that is where now we want Kara to come in, because we have not just residents. And Nixon, this is one of the area where now your board, can be able to come in. Pick this. Let us talk with the people, all the residents, because the people around the nodes that we have created, we have only done, what we call the reconnaissance and planning survey. And we've come up with what are the potentials in those areas. And our people are living there not even knowing the potential. So somebody will come, maybe some Asian from Europe or some Italian would come and then would buy your land for a song, Nixon. Right? You'd buy that land for a song. And tomorrow you see what has been created there is something that is so huge. Instead of buying your land for a song and then relocating you or asking you to relocate, you would rather you become a co-investor. And the value of your investment in whatever is coming up is your land. So that you become a shareholder. So we want to develop communities who are shareholders so that your land, which you inherited from your great-great-grandfathers, works for you, instead of you becoming strangers in your own land. And that is what why we really are happy to be involved with Kara in terms of sensitizing the residents, so that the residents know that you don't have to really sell that land. It's not a must that you sell it, but you can be able to co-invest. And it does not matter, it's a land where you only had 2 cows. But that land, we are also doing a land value index. That's one of the programs that I've started. We are doing a land value index, so that each one of you would just be able to come to the city and look at the location of your land, and that will be on a digital platform. So you look at the location of your land and you are able to know what value. You don't have to call a valuer to value your land and to be able to tell you this is, and you do not even have money to pay for that. So we are creating a land value index for all the lands that we have digitized for Kisumu. That would be able to give you to know what is your investment value in your land. If, for example, now you are to go into co-investment to improve your land. So you do not have to become strangers. You don't have to relocate. You can develop and co-create within the area where you reside. So that is the typology of what we are doing. And in terms of sustainability for livable urban areas, we are seeing this as the answer. To us, this is the answer. It is the panacea to Kisumu's urbanization. If we have long-term cooperation under a strategic framework for sustainable development within the context of transformation, but our transformation must also embrace climate change element. In doing this, we would not only reduce the adverse effects of the adverse impacts within our city's environment, but we would also want to ensure that our city is safe, our city is affordable, and I want to speak briefly about the affordability. Our city must be safe, our city must be affordable, and that affordability element, we have to create it together, because sometimes that is about 3 or so weeks ago, we were in a retreat with some municipality, and what I was telling the municipality, I was just looking at the, the fees and charges of one of those municipalities, and I was saying, my friends, these fees and charges, are they affordable, to the residents of your municipality? Can we begin from there? And then we went on. This is this much. This is this much. This. So how much are you collecting? Yeah. So I pinned them down. How much have you collected? Between June and now, how much have you collected on this? And I said, supposing you reduced these fees to this much, reduce this to this much, reduce this much, and then you sensitize to the people, so that we operate using economies of scale. You can still be able to get more revenue using economies of scale, rather than put your fees so high and then you scare people. So people will build at night. In the morning they have built, and those buildings are also unsafe because they were not inspected, and the technical elements were not put in place. And also they did not have a professional input. There was no surveyor, no engineer, no planner assisted even in terms of the design and the typologies and all that, because the fees was high. But if you place the fees bearable, you would have more people coming in, because this community is a community Jaluo Janyadhi. Donge. Jaluo Janyadhi. Jaluo ero gima ber. Gik moko Jaluo dage od mabat, od tin. Ka wacho mabat, wacho tin. Jaluo dage od katon. Ni en gi ot mo keto kucho rent rent maber ma permanent to ento dake katon. Jaluo nitie matimo mana dir. Jaluo Janyadhi. So if you bring the community and you are able to, to sensitize them and involve them and make the city affordable for them, or the municipality affordable, you can operate by economies of scale where you bring in more into the framework. Instead of making those fees and charges very high, therefore you scare. So many would rather do it behind your backs. And that is what also creates the cartels and corruption. Because somebody runs in and comes, no, I can help you. And he would be helping you, but away from the professional eye. At the end of the day, your buildings are collapsing. When the building has collapsed, or when now the floods are sweeping you because you built on a flood path, you did not involve Konyango to help you as a professional, then when things go wrong, now the newspapers, they're looking for Konyango's head. Please don't come for my head, because I've told you. So, that is it. Now, we are creating areas for social housing and affordable housing, because this also we must incorporate. The only problem is this, that affordability, we have, from an elitist perspective, determined what is affordable and what is not affordable. But ideally, affordability should go first with a standard survey, so that we are able to know what are the income categories or income levels, either from business, from formal employment and all those kind of things, so that by the time we are developing the affordable houses, we are developing affordable houses with the community in mind, so that that community becomes the beneficiaries. And we can have different typologies. One is rent to own. So the community can be paying for a rent that is affordable in that house, but at the end of it, you own it. It's a rent to own framework. Or if you have cash to buy, you can go in and buy. Or if you have any collateral that you can get collateral to pump in and buy. So in terms of affordability, we really have to do some survey. What is happening is, and the good example that I give, when we were getting out of college, California in Nairobi had just been developed, and in Pumwani area, and it was developed as a concept. This concept of affordable housing did not start yesterday. It is something which is a phenomenon that has existed for ages with us. California was the first affordable housing typology that we had. When we were getting out of college, the people for which California was developed, they only occupied those houses for months. And then they left. So when we were leaving college, those are the houses that we were renting. You have come out of college, your mind is still hyper and everything, you know, you're still living on top of the world, and you hear the houses in California are affordable. Affordable to us. They were affordable to us, first entrance into service, but not affordable to the community for which it was developed. So those people were simply moving, and they go and build shanties in Mukuru kwa Yaba, Mukuru kwa Jenga, and they left at the houses. So we rented those houses. It was not affordable because, one, these are people that are used to 20, or rather by then it was 10 shilling. 10 shilling water. That is enough for the day. But you're putting somebody where now he or she is expecting a 300 or 400, 500 water bill per month. The second thing is, you are putting this person where he has to use gas. And this fellow was used to using charcoal at most. Now he has to carry his charcoal to come and use this way. Coming from lanterns, you know, to electricity bills. We have not sensitized and make these people, in terms of their livelihoods, we have not developed their livelihoods to be able to afford. So affordability or affordable housing should go with first developing the people so that in terms of their livelihoods, they are able to afford the houses that we are building for them under the affordable housing concept. And then with that, we now are able, you know, to put a cutoff. That because now your livelihoods, you are able to afford this much, then there are two things: rent to own or buy, or take a collateral facility and then buy, and you are able to move on. We are doing social housing. We have partnered with UN Habitat. We have two projects in Kisumu. We have one in Kibuye, and we have one in Muhoroni. Now, this is the approach. Muhoroni, we are using the Residents Association. Also Kibuye, we are using the residents. They have their chairman. Muhoroni, they have their chairman. Now, we are building what is affordable, and in terms of building what is affordable, for Muhoroni and for Kibuye, there is a slight difference in the sense that in Muhoroni, what we are doing is taking what is existing, and then we are building 10 typologies, 10 pilot houses, which we will hand over free now to the people, and of course they are picked on random balloting. So we'll build 10 and then we'll give. Then we will go on to improve the others using the same, but now we improve them, we build with the people. So the first pilot, they are going to benefit, but the rest will benefit, but not free as it is. It's a typology we are using in Muhoroni. We are also using the same in Kibuye, but the difference is this, that we are densifying. In Kibuye, we are densifying. In Muhoroni, we are using the approach of co-creation in terms of adopting planning. So we are doing as it is. You have your plot, and that is where we are building for you. And then your neighbor, we will improve the lot using this one. Then we are improving the infrastructure. For Kibuye, we are going ground plus 4. So we are densifying. But then we are creating more open spaces for our children to be able to play in those places. Those places will be vested. And we are creating common areas, not just playgrounds, but in terms of solid waste management and so forth. Then for these common areas, the residents association are forming a cooperative. It is the cooperative, the residents association cooperative, that will now manage those common areas, so that we do not have Kanjo come to collect, waste in those areas. Kanjo will only provide you with the central area where you can be able to deposit and where they will collect from. But it is up to the cooperative to be able to manage. So the cooperative, you will pay to belong to the cooperative, and it is earning as you move on. So using your own cooperative, you'll manage those common areas and common facilities. It is something we are experimenting with, and that is why we have taken to pilot Kibuye and we pilot Moroni to see how this can work. Once this works, then we are going to replicate it to other areas. Let me go to the final slides. We are also into improving the urban grid in terms of transportation. And for this second phase of the Kenya Urban Support Program, you will see us still doing a lot of NMTs. One, we want to make Kisiti climate resilient. We want to make Kisumu City a walking city. And we will extend the NMTs. The current NMTs, non-motorized transport, the walkways that we have done, majority of them do not have street furniture. But the new concept is such that when we develop them, we will do the street furnitures. If you're walking, say, down from Kondele to Dunga, you are a mother and you are having, a child, and the child is crying, needs to, to be changed. We do not have those facilities where you can change, within the NMTs. If you need maybe to suckle your baby, we do not have those places where the mother can just rest and suckle the baby and then proceed on with the journey. We don't have places where, you can maybe, if you're thirsty, a convention place where you can buy water along the way. If you've walked and you're tired, a place where you can rest midway. So we are doing also street furniture together with the NMTs. And then also in terms of public transport, we are zeroing in on mass rapid transport. Kisumu is blessed. We have over 100 kilometers of railway network in Kisumu. We can be able to hope on to, now that we will be having SGR, and let us pray that it still comes, although the lion has gone back to the mountain, but let's pray that the SGR will still come. If the SGR comes, this railway network that we have here, we can convert that. And so that we have that for our local transport. You can travel all the way from Chemelil to Kisumu within 30 minutes, you're in Kisumu. And you can get from Kisumu and get on to, the other side, up to Maseno, within very short duration of time. The governor has been toying with the issue of us also introducing trams. Trams is a bit costly, but then the network, the grid network that we have in Kisumu is such that we can be able to introduce trams very well. If we introduce those, then in terms of public transport, we can transform this city so that you do not have, this problem of, littering Kisumu with all modes of transport. We do not have a conventional public transport. But we are doing that with a hindsight that if it is trams, if it is a railway system, the re-engineering of our public transport is done such that it will still be able to absorb the many unemployed that if otherwise we would render unemployed. So we are doing that with that in mind. Finally, my parting shot is co-creation, planning and building with the people. That is my clarion call in terms of urbanization, urban development as we move on. Kara is a partner with us. We do not have the muscle to be able to mobilize the communities, to sensitize them, and to help them to understand and to know that these are available for them, and together with them, we can be able to co-create our city, and together with them, we can be able to build our city. Asanteni sana.
Tupigie waziri makofi tena tafadhali. There is hope, si ndio? Kuna matumaini. I think waziri has painted a very, very good picture of the potential that Kisumu as a city has. And like we said earlier, it is in our hands. We are all stakeholders, we are all participants. And that's why amemaliza kusema we do co-creation. Co-creation means you don't sit back and wait to be given or to be told, imemalizika, please move in. Part and parcel of the journey right from the beginning mpaka mwisho. I think that gives a very fair picture of the plans in place. Saa zingine watu wanasemanga ati serikali haifanyi kazi, there's nothing they're doing. But when you listen to some of the plans they have, you realize that at least something is happening. It might not be to your speed or your expectations, but there's something going on, there's some plans happening, and it is only through forums like this one that really get to understand the insights and the things that are happening on the background. But of course, as people who are the shoe wearer, you also have your expectations. Pia mmejua some of the things that you think are priority and that are good for you. So having listened to those very insightful presentations from the three gentlemen, we also want to give you an opportunity to engage. Kama uko na swali, please you can ask. Kama uko na ideas, if you have a solution, you can be able to give that. And because of time, let's try and very be precise. Waziri had whispered to me that he needs to go and attend to something, but he decided to just come here so that he can speak to us and appear as kids some of the things that we want to really talk about. So I'm going to request that we try and be a bit disciplined. If we can take 1 minute to express ourselves, whether it is a comment or a question, I think that will be useful so that we can have as many as possible having that opportunity to engage. I don't know if you have an extra microphone. Okay, let me see by show of hand anybody with a question. Okay, so that we don't miss out, let's try and be systematic. So we can start with one row and then we go to another row. Cindy, so can we start with this row? The first hand up here. Hi, Apple. Your name, where you come from, alafu swali. And please, we've agreed to make it very, very brief and to the point.
Thank you so much. Good morning, members. My name is Ben Kitoto. Mimi ni mwanabiashara wa Kisumu, and I'm a member of the Chambers of Commerce, former CEO. I only have one question for Waziri. It was quite elaborate and very sweet, but he didn't touch one area which is really touching me. I live in Nyalenda slums, and I'm proud of being in Nyalenda. There was a road which was designed from Dunga, Kilo, 5 ways to Oboch, and it lands to Kechok. This road has not been opened, and the road actually could serve quite a lot, particularly when there's any fire break. The fire engine cannot reach those areas. And I've said I'm proud of being in Nyalenda. So can Waziri let us know whether that road will be open? It's a big road, all the way serving Dunga, Kilo, and then up to Kachok. That is my question.
Asante sana. Thank you very much. Next question. Next question. Where is the mic? Behind you, please.
Thank you very much. I think it is still morning. Good morning. I'm Joshua Magadi, a resident of Kisumu, particularly Kimute Estate. I represent Pejos. I'm a businessman in Kisumu. Waziri, thank you so much for being very comprehensive in sharing with us the many good dreams that we have. I'm only concerned, I have two things. One, we have been informed that human beings must lead a dignified life, and therefore environment is key to which we are able to undertake our things every day. What is it that is being done by the county government so that the very many policies that have been put in place, which are in black and white, are implemented in time? I speak to this because a number of times we get these lucrative statements coming from our leaders put in place to manage and make sure things are done the right way. I want to give you a very practical example. In Kisumu, I don't know whether through the county assembly of Kisumu, there are areas which were designated for good houses where residents could live. Recently, I'm giving an example of Kimute Estate, where today residents around that area are not able to live in a dignified manner at night because they cannot sleep because of enormous noise that emanates from the clubs around. That one maybe you can handle. Secondly, how is it possible, or what is it that the county could be lacking, that is from the county executive, that makes them not to implement these things? Do we have any political goodwill by politicians? And when I talk about this, I believe the executives are also politicians, and that is what elevated them to those positions. How can we handle this so that these beautiful dreams can be achieved?
Thank you very much. Let's have the next one. And tuendelee kuwa brief to the point.
Okay, good morning everyone. Okay, I'm Uyo Cheng Morris from Nyalenda B. Okay, I just have a few questions to put across. One, about the drainage system in town and in Nyalenda. There's a time I was at stage. Manhole is open. We really work in sewage. In terms of healthy wise of maybe the resident people is a problem, is pathetic. Like maybe the Waziri said, but they normally think ahead, but what we have currently is a problem to us. And if maybe I go to Nyalenda, drainage, when there is a raining, from those roads, normally even along the road, you find that people have been washing with water, flooded with water. And secondly, then let me go to the person with disability. Yesterday I was working with my friend, the name Dan. Dan was having a crutches, but it's been big. And that we force us to go to the roadside and vehicle poop on. So it's a problem even to us. Kindly, we need you to assist us on that. In terms of maybe putting RAM to us so that maybe accessibility can be good to us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
Sipro Sonyango, from Nyalenda A. My resident is in Dago. I'm very happy because I'm one of the people involved in this meeting today. It's something good to involve the residents in planning. So when you're planning, make sure that the public participation is done well. Like I heard one of the leaders talk about public participation. Who do you involve in that public participation? When it comes to matters planning, who are the key decision-making people? Do you involve even women in these forums? Because when you are doing a development, we need to, for example, if it is a development, you want to make a health facility, you need to involve women fully, because when you want to make a maternity wing part of it, it's the women who know how they are affected, because we believe that as women, there's nothing good for us without us. And also, I managed to attend a public participation. It was for the Kisumu East Sub-County. It was about taxation. And they were talking about, or in the community level, it's the women who use these. They eat it because it supplements some nutrients in their body, and also they sell it. It's like business. So the budget was not so fair on the side of women. That is why we are asking, I am asking that when you are making this planning and development planning, kindly try to fund the views of women. And also you talked about development is about people, dignity, and shared progress. Involve them still. And then you need to see the focus areas. For example, when you are building a primary school, we have girls and boys in that school. When you are making the toilets for the girls, it's different from the way you are making the toilets for the boys. The girls will take a lot of time because they need sometimes to change, even shower, but the boys will not. So it is a very key and very important point to make sure that the women are involved at every level of your development project.
So thank you. Points about public participation.
Hao watatu wameongea, plana, mwenyekiti na waziri. Sasa nataka kustick to waziri. Asante sana kutualika hapa. Na yale ameongea yote, waziri, nimesema asante kwa sababu hapo awali mwakasibi karibu 10. Tulikuwa na wasichana wengine wazuri wanaitwa, mmoja alikuwa anaitwa Roslyn na mwingine Beldin. Walianza na sisi UN Habitat kikundi. Tukawekwa tukachora haya manyumba tulikuwa tunaongeleshwa sasa na waziri. Sasa ombi langu ni hili. Waziri, umeyasema vizuri sana, umeanza Kibuye na Muhoroni. Sasa mkimaliza Kibuye na Muhoroni, myafikie sisi watu, sisi tuko Manyata. Tuliwekwa tukachora, mimi yangu nilichora ghorofa 5 ili ni wakifika kwetu Manyata tujengwe hiyo magorofa 5. Haijatufikia. Waziri, nimekuomba kwa moyo mnyenyekevu, mkimaliza Kibuye, Muhoroni, mfike Manyata. Asanteni.
Thank you very much. Asante sana.
Good morning. My name is John Ogutu. I'm an environmentalist based in Kisumu, and I stay in Nyalenda A. I don't have a question, but I just have 3 important comments. Number 1, there's a study which was done. I don't want to mention which organization but we did a survey, especially from the Ring Road area. The flooding in Nyalenda from the Ring Road area is coming from Milimani. Milimani has no proper storm drainage system. That is a fact. And also that is a point for the MCA who wants to come in. There is no proper storm drainage system in Milimani market area. Number 2, the only way to go to manage the waste in the city is to have ward-based, which I know it is in the CIDP of the county government, is the creation of material recovery facilities in every ward. That is really going to help, because now people know that even that plastic bottle, even the plastic bottle consuming water from this place can be sold and to earn something. So the only way to go is to have the MRFs in all the wards in the county. The other thing is, I want to encourage even the Minister of Lands. It is the reality that this city, in futures to come, should be moved towards Kondele area. That is a fact. Because the city is in one area. When it reaches 8 o'clock, there's nobody in the city. Do you see how Nairobi has been designed? Nairobi has been designed in a way that if you're coming, let's say if I'm coming from Ojola and I want to go to Ahero, I must first go into the city, get a bus or elsewhere and move to the other place. You see, the city in Kisumu is on the periphery of the lake. So if I come from Ahero and I want to go to Ojola and I want to do shopping, there's no need of coming to the city. I just go like that. You understand? So the city, great thinkers by now should be thinking of creating the city from the stage area going towards Kondele. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I'm going to be very brief. I've listened, my name is Bernard Okebe. I've listened to the three speakers, including Waziri. And what they were talking of, Kisumu going silent and sleeping from 6:30. It's not the first step, it's not the first time we are getting that. But my question is, even now, that have we ever asked ourselves, even if we make presentations, why the town goes silent and sleeping from 6 p.m.? Does it have to do with our planning policies and everything? Because there are businesses which begin at 6. When others close, others start 6 p.m. Like the entertainment. That's why Kondele is growing and Nyamasara is also coming up. If I come here, for those people who believe in Kisumu, around here, there's a sports ground. There are some activities there going on and railways. So if I come here, maybe at 10, I need to be sure that from here, I'll get transportation means to where I stay and other things. So my question is, have we ever asked ourselves, even as we make presentations, why the town goes dead from 6 p.m.? Thank you.
Asante sana. Thank you very
Now
much.
Marina Kaji wa Kisumu. Just like Okebe has said, we have good plans for the town. Waziri asante sana. Thank you for your input. Our concern, what has the county government not done to improve on all these plans? 2, what hand has the county government had in destroying all the plans that they have? Thank you.
Kaji wa Kisumu. Sasa kuna issue hapa town. Before ulikuwa unaweza pita nyuma za hizo, unaona hii fire station saizi wamepeana ni hoteli. Hapo nyuma kulikuwa na access mpaka kule nyuma chini huko. Saizi hata hao wenye wanaishi kwa hizo residence, they cannot enter, they cannot drive their cars in. Wapark magari zao kwa nyuma kwa sababu hizo residence zilijengwa na access gate ziko nyuma za kuingiza magari. Right now hao watu hawana access. Hata saizi moto ikiwaka saa hiyo kwa hiyo corridor, itabidi hiyo fire engine itavuruga hizo stalls zingine zikiwa hapo katikati ndio ifike, pengine ya katikati ndio ilikuwa inaungua. Access hakuna, hata kama ni maendeleo, lakini access lazima angalie pia. Na garbage management, hizi trucks zinabeba garbage, hazifikishi garbage mahali inafaa. Dumping zinafanywa kwa rivers kando za barabara, unaona hakuna mtu anafuatilia hizo garbage zinafika mahali zinafaa.
Thank you very much. Let's proceed.
Thank you. This is my question. I'm Lydia. I'm Kaji wa Shauri Moyo. I just want to say that if you go to the stage, sometimes during the day, there's a time I went at the stage, it was literally smelling feces, and it is during the day. And then sometimes in the fish market, they get out the fish waste, and they transport them during the day. I tell you, if you're there, it is terrible. Is there a way that they can transport them during the night when it is not active, and then they put the waste where it is recommended? And another concern is, I know they are making places for business. We can see so many stalls are being built. And as we said, in our city, we also want to lift that person that is very low. So the stalls that are being made, some are very high for the person doing burger or doing any other business. Are they able to make affordable stalls for also the low people?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I'm Zedi Tunya from Nyalenda. My question is, sometime back we did environmental assessment for the ring road, for non-motorable. I wanted Waziri to tell me if it's a priority in their plan, because all over when you walk there, the vendors are all over. So, can you please tell me so?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm Michael Otieno Nyaguti from Magnum Environmental Network, and I would want to request that you allow me to raise these issues with Waziri because it touches on planning and the environment. Number one, Waziri has spoken about the city facing the lake. At the beginning, he was talking about how to conserve the lakefront in terms of the wetlands, but they are planning a promenade. Maybe you should tell us more about that promenade and how it is going to affect the wetlands. I am an environmentalist who has been actually struggling to ensure that the wetlands around the lake are preserved. Why am I saying this? This is a city that has been smelling of late, and the smell emanates from industrial pollutants and, of course, what comes from our homesteads, but the city or the county has not been able to contain that. We know that on the other side, we have Equator Bottlers. On the higher side, we have Kibos that has actually been releasing a lot of industrial pollutants into the lake. What does the county plan to do in terms of containing such? And then now when it comes to, there's a block from Yacht Club towards Dunga, and Waziri has been talking about these wetlands must be protected. Yet the same planning department that he heads has been able to cut a new block. Just the other day we had to stop, there's this team that normally provides food for people just next to Yacht Club. They had already started fencing with a block, and they are fencing a wetland, claiming that it is land that belongs to them, it has been registered. Waziri must come clean on this and let us know whether he is aware of what his people down there are doing in terms of planning. I want to finish by saying that as we plan for this city, let us engage the community. Don't leave us behind, because you are talking about a lakefront development corporation that does not have representation from the people. The people who are there have entrenched interest, they are leaving us out, and when the time comes, some of us who have gone to court to protect the wetlands will rise up and take you to court and stop it. Then you will start saying we are anti-development. We don't want to reach there. Engage with the communities, engage with civil society. Let us have a representation of ourselves in the Lakefront Development Corporation that is supposed to be a government thing.
Asante. Thank you very much. Nataka tumalize so that we can respond quickly. Please.
I know you are pressed of time, sir.
Very pressed. Actually, Waziri wants to leave.
You are pressed of time not because of us, but because of yourself. Because when we started here, there is a glamoring, in fact, a conspicuous detachment between the people and the county. You are asking why Kisumu is becoming a ghost town. But we are forgetting there was something called the Abalawanga syndrome that came with demolition and vandalism. So the answer is very simple. We have to be very candid. There's total detachment between the people and the county government of Kisumu. And that is one thing that should be addressed. The other thing that we need to talk about is recognizing that there are groups, and these groups are supposed to affiliate with KARA. We have the opinion shapers in Kisumu, and there are so many other groups. We need to have clear engagements, because we are pushed of time, you will be crying of the same time. Otherwise, thanks, it is time. And you know time is a letter that we cannot retrieve.
Thank you very much. The last two so that we can get some responses, please.
Thank you so much. My name is Romanus Udoch. I am the chairman of the Opinion Shapers. Here we operate here at Kisumu. At the same time, I was an MCA in the years 2007-2013. I have just very few comments to make. Number one, there is this thing called urban development plan, which you have been told here, and you have been told that it is a legal document, which will run from the year 2020 to 2040. And I want to say this, that you have really done us a service, because a plan of the city should indicate where the factories will be built, where the fishing will be taking place, and whatever. You could have just put it on the, maybe on there, so that you tell us which areas where the industries are supposed to be. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because could be I'm residing, like now I'm residing in Dunga, and yet Dunga maybe is supposed to be a factory area. You see that? Then number two, when Professor was campaigning to be the governor of Kisumu, he talked of a walking city. Today, even Wasiri has repeated it, that they wanted to be a walking what? City. And I want to say this. Before they talked of the walking city, the economy of this city was running. Now that they have talked of the walking city, the economy of the city is now walking. Now, what I don't understand is, when Professor came into power, the businessmen in town, they started chasing out the businessmen in town, isn't it? Now you chase out the people from town. When the town becomes silent, you start saying, where are the people? Huh? You see? Where are the people? And yet you are the ones who chase them away from town. They rent to Kondele, they rent to Minyamasaria, they rent to, and then you ask yourself, where are the people? Is it really good? Now, number two, we have got what we call the street children menace in this city. Kenyatta Gingo Dinga Sports Ground is supposed to be a resting place. Like me, a day will never pass before I go there to rest. Then you find the street children, they come there to fight, they come there to do what? Everything. You see that? They even cook here, along the fence. And I think even Waziri, when you are going, before you go home, you even witness that. I don't know what you are doing about it.
Okay, let's
I stay
finalize.
in Dunga, and you have talked about lakefront beautification project, which I have not seen. I hope I'll see it very soon. Okay. The Residents Association, having been an MCA of Nyalenda B, we have the Residents Association. Like even now, the chairman of the Residents Association of Nyalenda is here. Stand up so that they can see you. You see that? What is remaining is only to empower these residents so that you can be working with them. Otherwise, thank you so much.
Asante sana.
Thank you very much. I'm Wino Kara from Migosi. Mine, I only have one observation. Bwana Waziri, much as I appreciate the efforts by the county government in beautifying the town, I'm very much concerned about our bypass. If you approach Kisumu from Busia, around the airport, it looks very tidy. And the moment you arrive at Kondele, between Kondele and the bypass at Nyamasaria, it's an eyesore. I don't know what you are doing to find an alternative route for those cane carriers. Because right from the flyover up to MTC, you can't imagine you are passing through a city. Is there any elaborate plan that you have in place for those cane carriers to follow Rabur straight to Kibos rather than dumping those things? And the vibrant Kondele is now terrible with the bumps erected along the road. It's littered with cane everywhere. Thank you very much.
Asante. Let's finalize.
Okay, thank you very much. I manage time. My name is Raymond. I work with the Kenya Red Cross Society as the Regional Disaster Management Officer. I have these few comments. Even as we grow the city, number one, we want to make the city disaster operation and city life free. Sometimes we find difficult to access with our ambulances when we have emergencies. The fire engines cannot be able to reach some destinations because of the roads. Number one, we have to embrace technology. Through Dr. Charles, we know you, your work speaks, and right here you are in Kisumu. I know we can work together because the knowledge is there, technology is there, especially the use of AI, the e-ambulances to mobilize the community to be able to respond to especially the night emergencies that we are having. Number two, we have use of drone that has been embraced in so many cities. I don't know if Kisumu County has a drone. When we can have emergencies, we can use to monitor instead of pushing people to dangerous zones, especially where infested by dangerous animals. Number two, we have digital early warning system for our communities that are living next to the lakes so that we can be able to protect lives and save lives. Number two, partnership with the tech companies for innovation to be able to also work closely with the AI units to be able to support Kisumu County. Lastly, roads. Some of the roads, especially the ones that are headed to Nyaera, they were designed with the keep right system, which is not working. You've seen several accidents that are happening along that road. That means that road is not for us. Let's design roads that are manageable and keep left system within Kenya that can be able to run. The last one, and I'm sorry for this, everybody, including Professor here, we are giving out waste of 0.5 kgs per day. Wherever you go, in the morning, lunch, and evening. The community within Kisumu has grown. We are having large capacity. These waste are directed to one sewer system that was developed with few number of people. We are facing a lot of challenges with diseases that are difficult to manage. Cholera is just standby. Waterborne diseases are rising. So what can we do?
Thank you. Let's leave it at that, please. Acha tuache hapo.
Good morning. I'll be very fast. My name is Linda Ogweno. I come from Migosi Ward and I'm a politician. I'd like to thank you, Waziri, for your presentation and to the other presenters as well. You did very well. Waziri, there is a dumping site within Migosi Ward that is called Kapenesa dumping site. I would want to hear from you, what are the plans in terms of having it filled up, and for any other the quarry sites that are within the rest of Kisumu County, because within Migosi Ward it is posing as a hazard to us. Next, I want to ask also that you could mention something on insecurity, because currently insecurity is high within Kisumu County, and as a politician that really affects my movement. Lastly, to our people, I want to ask you that in these coming elections, please, let us vote based on merit. Let us not use Yukojamna and handouts to elect leaders, because this presentation that Waziri has been made, it can only be implemented when good leaders are at the helm of Kisumu County. So for the first time in the next coming election, let's use a different criteria to elect our leaders. Thank you.
Asante sana. Thank you very much. Yeah, let me.
Please.
No, let's allow Waziri to respond, please.
Let him respond first.
Because he has to leave. So watch Waziri respond, and then the rest can come.
Good people, thank you so much for the level of enthusiasm that I see here. Unfortunately, I told Henry that I have an assembly meeting, which is just in the next 10 minutes. I'm supposed to be at the county assembly. That is what is pushing me. There are questions that I will respond to. Others will be responded to by Nixon and my brother Plana. So you will help me. The two of you will help me respond to some of these questions. Now, so I hope you are noting them. Plana, you are noting them. Were you? Yeah, because the ones I don't respond to, you will respond to. There is nothing that I can not, which I can. There is nothing you cannot answer. Nixon, there is nothing you can't answer. Of all the questions they were raising, you can. First, the issue of, there is somebody who talked about Manyata. Manyata, if you saw, there is a plan I showed here. That is actually of Manyata, the master plan. That is of Manyata. So we are not done with Manyata. We are still coming to Manyata. And what we are doing is, You see, we are twining with the African Urban Lab. I didn't mention that. The African Urban Lab has also come in to assist us in certain development planning and implementation in Kisumu. So what the approach we are doing is getting partners that can help us with regard to the implementation. The African Urban Lab is led by the former Mayor Akech. He is the chair of the Kenyan chapter of the African Urban Lab. In terms of policy implementation, there are a number of policies. Actually, Kisumu, in terms of the strategic areas of interaction, development interaction with the people, we are now sufficient in terms of policies. And what you see as now doing in terms of even developing these partnerships is moving from policy formulation to the implementation side. And a lot of these things you'll begin to see. Nonetheless, these policies are also published now in our website. And we would really want you to interact with these policies so that you are able to hold us accountable. And that's why I'm quite excited when I see the level of passion that this audience has in raising issues, raising questions on areas that you feel are still lagging behind in terms of development and where you people are not yet incorporated as well. The governor started something that was in May 14th to be precise, which is called the Governor's Kamukunji. The first Governor's Kamukunji we had it at Tomboya, and I would encourage that we all come to the next Governor's Kamukunji, because when the governor has this Kamukunji, we are all there. You are asking questions, you'll find the environmentalist is there, you find the finance fellow is there, the CEC for education is there, water, all the CECs are there, many of them at least that are available would be there, and they are able to answer your questions directly because the governor is there to listen. You elected him, he is implementing his manifesto, we are helping him to achieve the manifesto and to build a legacy. And we are usually paraded. They are the first governors I attended to answer quite a number of questions regarding planning and development. And I would encourage that you come to the next governors Kamukunji also to raise these issues. There are some things that are to do with policy, not policy, but policing. If, for example, areas like clubs are coming up, some of these clubs are very difficult, because in the day, the clubs are not there. In the night, the clubs are there. Some of those clubs, we have also licensed them using our other shadow hands. And so they exist without the official dome. They are outside of the official dome. But you residents as the police, within the area, some of these things you raise them, and you see, like now, there are matters that when you raise with me, I take them at the policy level. And being the county minister in charge of lands, fiscal planning, housing and urban development, I also oversight other municipalities, 5 of them, including the city. So some of these things, when you escalate them at that level and you don't see action, you bring them up to my level. And some of the people here who have come to my office, you know that I have a very open door policy. As long as you come in, you have found me, and you are a citizen of this city, you will not go away without seeing me. I'll stay back, give you an audience, and for those that have seen me, you can attest to the fact that action has also been taken. Because this action, we take them together with you. I come from the school that has taught me to believe that I do not have the solution to your problems, but that you have your own solutions to the problems that you are facing. So when you visit to bring me the problem, but tell me what the solution is. So my assignment will be simple. Translate your solution into a policy framework, have the cabinet adopt it, and then we move on to implement. The issue of the drainages and so forth, Nixon, you'll attend to those ones. And then Cyprus, thank you for very good comments. Those were compliments. I don't have anything to answer to that. But I would say, I think that was Raymond, on the issue of disability, we need to know the exact spots. Normally when we have created this infrastructure, one, we do the design. Unfortunately, there are some areas where we have designed and have not taken cognizance of the disability element. And so you find that by the time you begin to use them, that is when you will see that, okay, these areas need some work. That is why we retain, the contractors on site for a while, if there are any modifications and so forth that we need to do. But even if we have exited the contractors, we are still able to now move in and do modifications to accommodate issues of disability and so forth. They are our people, you are our people, we have to take care of that. The issue of material recovery, yes. For the first time, we are moving onto the circular economy, and you are aware that we now have a full-fledged material recovery site, which then we have to cascade down to ensure that at a community level, we are now going to implement the 3R in terms of the solid waste, so that we have segregation at that level to ensure that as we do the segregation, then we are able now to move down to the material recovery site, which again, at one point it was, the tender was floated, but because of challenges with the lengthy bureaucratic procurement system, we were not able to achieve it. But then that is what we have again revived, and so you will begin to see the material recovery operation within the circular economy concept operating. And I have said that we are doing an incremental development approach. Incremental, that is why you find that we are bringing in different partners. PNUA is UN Habitat. The Maseno, Holo, Kombewa, Katito, we have brought in the AUL. And we also have the second phase of the Kenya Urban Support Program. So the second phase of the Kenya Urban Support Program will concentrate on the city core and also on Ahero. We brought in Ahero under that program. So it is incremental development. We do not promise heaven on earth that we will do it overnight, because even the change that you have seen in Kisumu, this transformation, is something that has taken place, I would comfortably call it about from 2018 or thereabout. That is where this transformation has come. And so we will create it together with you, but if you are helping us to police. My younger sister, Linda, yes, the politician. For which area? No. The politician for Kisumu County is the governor. Migosi, yes, the politician for Migosi. Oh, you are an upcoming. Okay. Yes. Oh, very good. Please vote her. I want to see her next time to help us implement this. No, Migosi, no, not governor. Migosi, I think she will be the MCA. Yes, MCA, together with Nixon. So we have two potential MCAs here. Please, I have said we have two potential MCAs, but let it not go out of this room, because there are MCAs in those areas. I will meet them at the county assembly and they'll come with a hammer on me. I'm not campaigning for them, but we will meet. We'll see you. So the issue of dumping, we have had this reported, and my colleague Judy is grappling with a real huge problem, trying to ensure that the illegal dump sites that are being created is not just in Migosi area, but we have had reports on quite several places. There is even one area where a truck was followed, and somebody just called her, and she followed the truck on a motorbike on a Saturday, and saw the truck dumping and took the photo, of the truck and handed over, so that followed. So we have these policing issues. And when the residents themselves are able to call us and tell us that this and this is happening, it is important. We will be able to follow them up. The only thing is, I don't know whether we have had a hotline. I will be able to find out whether we have a hotline, but we also have finished our communication policy, and also we have finished our policy for disclosure. You are able to access our information very well and communicate to the various departments that need to answer your questions. So Waziri, my colleague Waziri Orimba, Salmon Orimba has finished the policy, and it's a wonderful thing. We have also finished the waste management policy, which takes care of the issues like the wetlands now. Those wastelands that I've mentioned, our environmental and waste management policy is very clear on those ones. But I'm saying from a planning perspective that we have to conserve this environment. I have severally visited Dunga, and I'm very keen on Dunga because Dunga is also the lung of the lake. And if we are not careful to manage Dunga, we will really destroy our lake very, very fast. The time when there was, I think about 2 weeks ago, when we could not eat fish in Kisumu, there was a lot of fish dying, and they were taken to the lab and so forth. As a planner, the first thing that came in my mind was that Dunga and the Kisat. How much are we polluting, the lake? So that we look at the upfront to see what is it that we are doing in terms of destroying, the lung for the lake that is causing this problem. So that apart from the industries which are generally culprits, and that falls within another docket, those industries that are culprits, that we say are polluting, the lake, in terms of the oxygen level of that lake, I'm sure it's very low. But my part is to look at how do we conserve so that we have these lungs are able to purify the oxygen, the waters, and be able to replenish the oxygen level within our lake. Is this lake really living? Is it alive? Or we are staring at a dead lake? So those are questions that are arising. And again, as I say, the policies and the regulations, we have had enough that are in place. The fact now is about implementation. In the Department of Land, we have now developed a program for land clinics. And from tomorrow, there is a land clinic, I think in Kaloleni. If I had found out that information as I was coming here, if I knew that would be arising, I would. But if you would get to our website, you'll be able to see we are having 3 land clinics between tomorrow and Monday. And these land clinics are going to proceed. I think they're starting with Kaloleni tomorrow. The MCAs are also involved in our land clinics. During the land clinics, you are able to ask as many questions as possible regarding land, planning, development, and all that, because there we zero in on the matters regarding land. I personally would not be in the clinics, but then I have a team of technical officers that would be in the land clinics. Any matter that would be outstanding that has not been addressed, they'll be able, to escalate to me, and we will address those ones. On the issue of the bypasses, yes, we have the bypasses. What you see actually were, I would call short-term measures. What you are calling the bypass is actually a ring road, not a bypass. But we have the bypass that would emit these trucks that you are talking about carrying, cane and littering and so forth. The only thing is that we've not commenced the development of these bypasses, except there is one that I noted. There is one, this Kachok, Kilo, Dunga, that one is, that road is in the plan for this financial year under the Kenya Urban Support Program Phase 2. So you will see its implementation. The final thing I wish to mention is we are also blessed. You talked about incorporating technology. We have just trained our first drone pilot. So Kisumu now, we have a drone pilot. And it's, I think the only one in this region. I doubt whether Vihiga, Kakamega, Busia, Siaya, Homa Bay and the rest. We are the first one to have trained the drone pilot. And most of this AI and technology approach, we will be using that. We are also, there are some dump sites that were not decommissioned. That is the challenge we are facing. These quarries were dug. After these quarries were dug, the people left the quarries without decommissioning. But it is something which we have in a program to follow up and have these quarries decommissioned, so that, as you fly into Kisumu, there is one that scares me. I don't know how many people, this other side, that is called what? There is one that really scares me. You look at it, there was a time I went there, there's a primary school which we built around there using AFD program. Nobody comes from around there. The name is coming. Sometimes the name comes and goes. Kasese, you got it here. No, we are decommissioning that one. You see, that is not, it was meant to have been the official county dam site. That is what it was designated. But then, our brothers raised concern, because you put a dam site there, then we will have to also change the flight paths for us to be able to fly into Kisumu. So as I speak to you now, I am not talking about the further one, I'm talking about this one here. No, Kachok we decommissioned. From Nyamasari, as you go in before you reach the Kibos Road, there is a very huge quarry somewhere there. No, it is not in Yawita. Anyway, you know it. You know it. So, there are a number of dump sites, of quarries, which we've looked around, and the onus is on us to decommission them and then have those quarries rehabilitated. The rehabilitation program will be a bit costly because it is not something that Kisumu will take up ownership on its own, but we also must find, we must hold the people responsible for the creation of those quarries to help us in terms of not just the decommissioning, but also the rehabilitation part. I am asking that you allow me to leave. Which one is that?
Economical factors of production to make the town attractive for further investments. As you claim that the town is dead from Obote Road, is dead from 2 o'clock.
Okay.
What has the county done and not done?
Okay, I've heard your question. When that question was asked, I really cracked my head. I said I went to school, but I have not understood that question. I actually did not understand that question. That is why I left it. But now I've understood it. I have now understood it. So the thing is, you see, if you take Obote Road, you go down, or rather you climb up, and then you join Ogingo Dinga as you go up. That is a commercial spine, one of the commercial spinal streets of Kisumu. And therefore, together with that, when we activate the lakefront, then both Obote Road, Ogingo Dinga, and the road to Dunga, the Dunga Road, those roads, which form the commercial spine of Kisumu must be activated. To activate those roads, we have adopted the mixed-use development. So the mixed-use development, we've done the survey and found out which areas can we transform into mixed-use development, so that it is living. And when we talk about mixed use development, then we also must have communities that are vibrant, or people, entrepreneurs, not communities, but entrepreneurs that are vibrant, and then enhance the security of those areas so that they are able to live beyond the hours, when they ordinarily do business. We have done a survey, and when you inquire of those people, they'll tell you one of the reasons why they close is because of insecurity. At a certain hour, the road becomes insecure. How do you usually transform that? By adopting mixed use development, so that it is not just one user as you move on. And when you build in, you bring in security, you are able to create vibrancy in within that area. Of course, there are some fellows who would tell you that it is because it is a what? It is a colony. The street is a colony, and up. But personally, I've surveyed the whole of that, and it is not a colony, as some people would want to say it. It is possible for us to transform it using the mixed development approach. That's what we are doing. The what? The what? Or the lakefront development. Now, the lakefront development, one of the things is, I don't know if you can even Google and try and look at what Senegal has done. Beautiful. And the thing is, one, those catchment areas and those wetlands, zone them, plan them, preserve them, conserve them. That is the approach. The areas that are interfacing with the wetlands, plan them in a manner that is compatible. So we are looking at compatibility so that we do not kill the wetlands. And that is why you would find that the development applications that are now coming, and we have now brought in environmentalists on any development application. The development application committees have environmentalists, and we have to look at that area in terms of compatibility. What you are proposing and what you are bringing on board, how compatible, is it? And the other thing that we have done is we have georeferenced the whole of the lakefront and captured it on our GIS database, so that any developments coming in, we are able to interpolate it on the GIS database before approval. Then we are able to see whether it is within the wetland area, whether it is within the riparian area, and how far is it going to interface or affect or impact adversely, on the wetland. So that is already done. We just finished, the mapping and the georeferencing about a month ago. That was in June. June is now 2 months. We just finished that 4 months. This is October. We just finished that in October, and we have started implementing that plan. Can I leave it to them so that the county assembly do not skin me? Okay, fine.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Winnie Awino-Oma. I'm a young environmentalist and a climate activist, and I'm also a campaigner of Let Lake Victoria Breathe Again. The reason why I've requested to put on this is we have mothers, we have sisters, and we also have young mothers like me. We use diapers, we use always. If the CS can please, on my side, if you can create a dumping site where we can collect the pampers or the people who are collecting dustbins within our areas to collect the pampers and the sanitary pads, so that they can be dump site in one place to avoid the floods that we have, and also the blockages of sewages. Because at times back I used to stay in Nyalenda. That's when I was young. In 2 years back after finishing the college, I'm right now staying in Kolwa Central. At times I wake up with my daughter together with the children within my community. At least we go outside to do cleanup kidogo tu ya community. Tukishafanya tuweke hizi vitu pamoja, you definitely find kuna hiyo auji ndogo yenye naenda inapitia this hospital called hiyo hospitali yenye Komanya hata inaitwa aje, Kuoyo dispensary. And you find that road also it's ni njia ingine yenye kupita ni ngumu. You find a lot of diapers disposed inside there. Wanasaizi wanatupa hadi tudo zenye zimekufa hapo ndani. But I personally nasikianga saa zingine na niuma juu I love the environment and I love the community. And we also have the CHVs and CHBs within this session that we are having. But nobody has come up to raise that point. The reason why we are having drainage and we are having smell places within our community is because of the diapers and the sanitary pads that we throw within the Awuji. And that is what has been affecting us throughout. You find our kids wanakufa kwa malaria, wanakufa kwa measles, and all these are being get through the small dumping sites that we are creating within the community. So let's please try and keep our environment clean. May your waste be your responsibility as the same way my waste is my responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't know whether, Henry, we are taking minutes. Are we taking some notes on minutes? Yeah, so you share with me the resolutions that you will have made. Let me see which ones I can pick up to bring to implementation. I will do that, and then Henry, of course, we will follow up. Help us, my parting shot is help us to build our city. Take responsibility first from your environment, as I didn't get your name, as Winnie has said. Take care of your waste, for example, then the other person takes care of the waste, and then we can together be able to do it. You are crying about drainages, which Nixon will talk about, but those drainages, we are the ones who are blocking them. And then when floods come, now you ask us that, Serikali, saidia.
Responsible for the mess that we have in Kisumu City? Are we able to get answers for that question? To what extent are we responsible for the mess that we have put ourselves in Kisumu City? I'll briefly touch on the Abalawanga syndrome because it has elicited a number of positive reactions and negative reactions. But what I can say from where I sit is that change is unstoppable. And when a change is occurring, and that's why I say that if you came to Kisumu in 2010 and you came to Kisumu today, you will realize a change, isn't it? And that change, there are people that change killed, isn't it? But then there are people that change gave a new life. And therefore, as we are embracing change, and I want to be very firm on this, when we are now transforming into the city that Waziri has been able to project there, if you look at the areas where we want to do those changes, kuna watu huko ama hakuna? There are people there. And sometimes they'll be forced either to embrace the change, or the change will change them, or the change will sweep them through, isn't it? So that comes in, and I want us to agree, before the Abalawanga thing happened, let us look at this street just across here, ukitoka tu hapo roundabout or Ile to Jaramogi Oginga Odinga roundabout. How was it before Abalawanga came in? How was it? Did we like it? Do we like it now? But in the course of changing it, are there people who lost certain level of livelihoods? Mana kaka dhako nyuolo, much kaya. The pain is very great, isn't it? But what happens after they give birth? There is joy. So we must agree, and I must reiterate what our president said the other day, that before we must sacrifice certain comforts for us to achieve the city status that we have. You remember the other day, Abalawanga gave regulations that we must stop burying our people in our estates. About 50 or 40 years ago, Manyata was a village, isn't it? Obunga, Yalenda, all those were villages, and there are people who are born there. But now we are saying that the city is now catching up with them. We must change to fit into the city, and that change will cost some of us. I think a number of issues the Waziri responded to very comprehensively, but for me, what I can only tell our people is that we must be ready to give certain level of comfort, and one of the comfort has been reiterated by Madam Linda Ogweno, that we have seen where the problem is. There has been high level of complacency from our leaders in terms of service delivery. Because most of our leaders were being selected in boardrooms. Naambiwa wewe tutakupatia MCA, wewe tutakupatia MP, wewe tutakupatia governor. Therefore, these people do not get mandate from the people. So when they got into leadership, they serve the people who appointed them into those leadership positions. So come 2027, and we are saying that we must embrace change. That this time around, wacha hii mambo ya gonya, because once a politician has gonyod you, he's thinking that he has already bought your loyalty. He's thinking that he's already given you what you deserve. So when he gets into office, serving you is not his priority. Anaangalia nilitumia pesa mingi kucampaign, kugonyo watu, I need to take over all those tenders and projects so that I recover my money. So let us put our next group of politicians and leaders to be accountable to the people. That when we are addressing issues, when we go to them that we have this issue to be addressed, please tell us how you're going to fix it. Not this one, Mia Sukari. I go with it, and then that person thinks that he has bought your loyalty. Now, I want to also make a brief comment on the waste, and I think that is that has been elaborately been touched on. That to what extent are we responsible? You go to Kibuye, you realize that the markets, the traders there, mtu akifika jioni anaona nyanya yake inakwama na yeye mboga, they just dispose of it there. So it's an attitude problem. Wewe sahi ukishamaliza na hii maji ya plastic, you will just throw it haphazardly on the streets. The women, we throw diapers. The men. So the change has to come from within us. That you want to ask yourself, to what extent am I responsible for the good Kisumu city that we want? To what extent will I change as a person so that that change will affect the neighbor, and the neighbor will affect the other neighbor? And at the end of the day, we have people who are responsible. In Japan, if you go to places like Japan, and you realize even the other day, Rwanda has already embraced this tabia. Yeah, once in a week, once in a while, they clean the city. I think under the Ranguma government, we tried that. And it failed. I don't know why it failed, because majority of the people walikuwa wanakuja huko, baada ya kufanya cleaning wako zile za and then the politicians had to run away from that exercise, because it created a forum for them to be asked for money. And then we had to abandon that idea. So it is my belief that we can still do that the way Rwanda has done it so well. That in Kigali, once in every month, the residents themselves can mobilize themselves and clean their neighborhood. And this can effectively happen. Traders who are Fish Market, Jubilee Market, Chirombero, there are market committees there. Where the government has failed, let us come in and give our support. Of course, somebody will say that, oh, we are paying taxes. Yes, we are paying taxes. But sometimes the government, who is the government, by the way? I always ask this question. Serikali ni nani? Serikali ni nani? Wewe ni nani? Wewe ni mimi, si ndio? So we are the government. And the constitution says from the first statement that the power, the supreme authority rests with the people, isn't it? Not with the governor, not with the MCA, but with the people. And the people may exercise their powers directly or through the elected representatives, isn't it? But in Luo Nyanza, we have given politicians and leaders all the powers to do the things that we can do. And sometimes, the day we will realize that sometimes politicians are the source of your problems. That's the day you'll start believing in yourself. So let us exercise that authority as wananchi. Let us own Kisumu City. Let us not behave like Welo. Nima wachalo jok mobedo invited ni wabua pia wabed Kisumu. Kisumu is Marwa, isn't it? By Thuon, isn't it? That is what Jaramogi said. That Kenya is Marwa by Thuon, whether you Kithni or you. So let us say that Kisumu is Marwa, whether you Kithni or you Ndekni, and you must ensure that you task yourself to be part of that change that will change this city. I'm talking from a resident perspective, and I hope that I don't have any powers until I'm sworn in 2027 as the new MCA for Market Milimani, because the current MCA has retired and is going to Kisumu East constituency as an MP. Seth Aduyonyang. Now, I'm aware that I'm finishing in the next 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen. I'm aware that just the other day, Kura has already advertised the tender for the construction of the Chigara-Bur road. And one of the things that we had petitioned is that some of the trucks that are going to Kibos, at least waende through Chiga, waende through Rabur, watoke Chiga, wakikuja hadi factory ya Kibos. But what I realized through the Kibos, my conversation with the Kibos, is that some of the trucks that are ferrying sugarcane across Kisumu city are from Western Kenya. They are not all of them sio za watu wa Kibos. Some of the trucks are taking cane to West Kenya, factories in Western Kenya. So some of them are not always responsible for the identification of our city. And through that program, of course, I'm aware through a bit of 4-on-1 with the city manager that one of the plans is to also ensure that some of those trucks will go through Ombei. Okay, you are aware that the Hispania, Kisii, Kisumu road, one of its program was to ensure that there's a road that connects from Nyahero to Ombei, then to Miwani road. Some of those trucks will be diverted there in the fullness of time. And we hope those will happen sooner than later. Now, it is our push, and this is one of the agendas I have, that we must make our city vibrant. And Waziri has made has alluded to that the city is our spinal. Okay, where watch Atieki.
Pardon about that. I was supposed to speak, but okay, she has given me the microphone. My name is Emma Olung, from a resident, and also I work with Pambazuko Wanawake Magharibi. Thank you. Waziri is gone, but I appreciated his presentation because the plans, they are somehow gender responsive. I heard him talk about suckling babies and having those spaces. It's a pity. He also said that because when you're talking about gender responsive public services, we are talking about services that look at the needs of everyone. Now, the needs of people with disability, as somebody who also works with people with disability in the informal settlements of Nyalenda and Manyata, mobility, and sometimes we've had meetings where the person cannot fit in the door. The door is too small. The wheelchair cannot go in. The ramp is too steep and too slippery, even for me who is walking. So I wish he had been here, but maybe he said, I'm sure there is minute taking. Those plans, those buildings that are going to be built, they must include that. Make sure that the needs of the people with disability are taken care of. Another thing that maybe I wish to talk about, because I don't want to speak too long, what about the plans to improve what is already here? Because there is plan to build whatever, but what about what is already here? The issue of sanitation is a big thing in the informal settlement of Manyata and even Nyalenda. The issue of accessibility to clean water. Something has been done there, but I think more needs to be done in order to improve these issues, especially the issue of sanitation and the issue of access to clean water. Somebody has spoken about noise pollution. It seems night spots are in the residential centers, places, and somebody like me with a hearing problem, you find that is a very big problem. You cannot sleep. Maybe they should come back to the town and make the town awake. Thank you.
Thank you. Those are very
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this time. To add on that, I have a religious background, and when you are talking about planning, we have churches. Within 100 meters, we have almost 20 buildings of the religious places, churches. So kindly plan even how the churches are built and where they should be built, not in residential places where people are.
Ladies and gentlemen, with your permission, yes, I think let us get hold of the other mic so that we only have one mic. I was actually winding up on my Q&A. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to say this one last time, that the Constitution has given us rights, but rights come with obligations. So it is going to be, you have a right to certain benefits that the Constitution has bestowed upon you. But that right, your right ends where mine starts. So we must, at the end of the day, exercise a great level of responsibility and feel obliged to serve our people and our communities and ensure that at the end of the day, that we build a city that is fit for everyone. And that was my motto, that how do we build a city that embraces everyone? We must strive to be tolerant to the diversity of our thinking, diversity of our culture. Kisumu is a cosmopolitan city. It has all the major 45 tribes of Kenya and all Wazungus and Europeans and Asian, people of Asian background. We must build this city as a community, and we must be very honest with our weaknesses. If we are able to identify what are our weaknesses, a genuine conversation starts with knowing what you are not capable of, because when you're very genuine about what you're not able to do, then you can find solutions to them. And the other thing I will want to encourage all of us is that let us not be pointing the accusing finger at someone else. Today I'm a resident, I'm a Raia. Probably in 2027 I'll now be an MCA. I will not be happy when you're now saying, Samba, because now you're the other side, now you are responsible for this and this. What if 2032 then I come back to become Raia? Will you say, so let us take responsibility as a people, let us move Kisumu city as a family, and let us build the city for us to thrive in. Tongawacha maber. Ero kama.
Thank you very much. Moses, do you have anything to add? Ama uko sawa? Thank you. Asante sana. Thank you so much for those responses. Thank you for your questions, for your ideas, and even for your participation. I think it's been a very productive session. Najua tumechukua a bit of more time than we had expected, but I believe it's for a good reason. Tumeelimishana vizuri sana. So we've heard what Waziri has said in terms of the plans in place from the county. We've heard what Waziri has said in terms of the responses. We were taking notes of all that, and like he has said, we'll make a follow-up with him to see to either some of these good ideas and some of these issues that have been raised are actually taken into consideration. Otherwise, as Kara, we're always happy to provide this kind of platform, because in having these conversations, we are also able to understand what the other side is doing, and by the other side, I mean the government, but we're also able to make them to listen to us, to understand what we think and what our priorities are, even as they do their planning. And we've all agreed that the most important thing is to plan with the people and not for the people. And it has to be a co-creation kind of approach. So I want to thank you once again for great time to be here. And I want to urge you that the only way you can make public participation meaningful is for you to get organized within your neighborhood. If you are organized in your neighborhood, in your estate, and by organized I mean you've established a structure that can then promote your interest. And this structure can be in form of a resident association. I know a number of you already belong to resident associations. If you don't belong to one, and if you don't have one, as Kara, we are happy to guide you on how to form a resident association, to guide you on how to manage a resident association, and make it effective in terms of engagement with the government and other stakeholders. And if you are here, I know that a number of you are here who are already affiliated to Kara as members and as affiliates. We invite you to come and join us as Kara, because Kara is an umbrella body of resident associations. It means we provide a national platform where resident associations from across different parts of the country can converge and establish strength that can then be able to use to advocate for their interests. So I invite you to come and join membership of Kara, be a member of Kara, and ensure that we can be able to speak with one voice as people who are looking for life of dignity in our neighborhood. If you have not formed an association, we'll show you how to do it. If you are not actively managing the association, we have a toolkit that can then guide you on how to effectively manage your resident association. Because as Kara, we do believe that until we are organized and until we are speaking with one voice, hii mambo ya public participation itakuwa two story. It will not really be effective. But if we are organized and we speak with one voice, then we are going to make it meaningful and effective for our interest. So that's what I want to say as a closing remarks, and we invite you all to really take the issue of getting organized at your estate level, as a neighborhood level, seriously, so that you can push for your interest and you can ensure that the government is being held accountable in terms of service delivery and their roles and responsibility. So with those remarks, thank you once again. We invite you for some tea and refreshment as we continue networking, as we continue knowing each other, exchange contacts, look at how we can be able to work together on areas of common interest, and let's all be proud of the city that we can be able to create out of this engagement and out of these networks. So let me request for a closing prayer, even as we end this session. I will like to close for us. Do we have Muslims here? Seems you have none. Can close for us, sir. Thank you.
May we all rise for a word of prayer. We pray, our kind and loving Father in heaven, we glorify your name. We have seen what you've done from the time this meeting began. We thank you for your protection. We thank you for providing knowledge, the understanding, and the wisdom that comes from you. This far you brought us. How we pray that what has been discussed here may find their way being implemented, so that as we continue living, Father, we live with dignity. As we will be leaving this place to various destinations and involving ourselves in different activity, once again we want to seek for thy guidance. Father, make it possible that if there is another time when we'll be able to come and deliberate on similar matters, then we continue glorifying your name. We pray for this country. We pray for the Luo nation. And we ask you that you may provide the right pathway that we are able to follow with a lot of humility, that you provide peace in everything that we do. This is our humble prayer, for we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.